Brat, the Phoenix Rising, a story of triumph, tragedy, and transformation. She conquered charts, shattered glass ceilings, and dominated an industry built to exclude her. Yet beneath the platinum success lurked demons that would eventually consume everything she'd built. This is the complete saga of Brat, how one explosive moment destroyed her empire, and how she discovered that sometimes you must lose everything to find what truly matters. The Chicago Genesis. In 1994, Chicago's West Side witnessed the birth of a revolution. Shawntae Harris was about to transform into Brat, but her journey began in the hardest circumstances imaginable. Raised by a determined single mother, Shawntae discovered her salvation in hip-hop's pounding rhythms and razor-sharp wordplay. While the rap scene remained aggressively masculine, she injected something revolutionary, unapologetic feminine power wrapped in street-smart lyricism that cut deeper than any blade. Then, Funkdafied detonated across the airwaves like a sonic bomb. This wasn't just another hit record, it was a seismic shift. Brat achieved what seemed impossible, becoming the first solo female rapper to sell over 1 million copies and claim platinum status in an industry that barely acknowledged women's existence. Suddenly, she possessed everything: youth, wealth, and seemingly invincible status. But invincibility, as Brat would discover, is often an illusion that crumbles when you need it most. Walking the impossible tightrope. The 1990s music landscape was a war zone, particularly brutal for women attempting to claim their space. Male rappers could embrace aggression, confrontation, and violence while being praised as authentic artists. Women faced impossible contradictions. The industry demanded toughness, but not excessive toughness. Sexuality, but not overwhelming sexuality. Authenticity, but not uncomfortable authenticity. Picture balancing on a razor wire while wearing 6-inch heels. Brat demolished those restrictive rules entirely. She spoke her mind without filters. She embraced boldness without apology. And yes, sometimes fury consumed her completely. Media outlets branded her troublesome, overly aggressive, hip-hop's most problematic child. But underneath that protective armor lived a young woman suffocating under crushing expectations, fame's isolating weight, and uncontrolled rage she'd never learned to harness. The internal pressure was mounting dangerously, and everyone in her orbit could sense the inevitable explosion approaching. The calm before destruction. By the mid-2000s, Brat's success continued, but concerning fractures were becoming visible. The industry was evolving rapidly, fresh talent was emerging constantly, and she was battling more desperately than ever to maintain relevance. That desperate fight was about to consume everything she'd worked to achieve. October 31, 2007. Halloween night at Atlanta's Studio 72 nightclub. What began as celebration transformed into the evening that would obliterate Brat's entire existence. The horrific details remained devastatingly simple. A dispute over seating arrangements spiraled out of control when someone hurled a drink. In pure rage, Brat seized a rum bottle and violently struck Shayla Stevens, a club hostess. Glass exploded everywhere. Stevens required multiple stitches to repair the facial damage. That shattering sound marked the end of Brat's freedom and the beginning of her catastrophic downfall. Grammy-nominated rapper Brat was sentenced today to 3 years in prison for assault. One split second. One devastating decision. One broken bottle, and instantly the woman who had conquered the entertainment world found herself facing concrete walls instead of golden awards. Public response was immediate and ruthless. Headlines screamed about the violent rapper's shocking collapse. But beyond those sensational stories was a human being about to lose everything she'd sacrificed to build. The prison years, silence after the storm. For 3 years, the woman who once commanded massive stages and exclusive red carpets found herself confined to a 6x8 cell. The deafening silence must have been torture for someone accustomed to thousands chanting her name. While Brat served her sentence, the world continued spinning. New stars emerged, devoted fans moved on, and the music industry that once celebrated her kept functioning without missing a single beat. You don't comprehend how much you've lost until you're trapped in a cell, watching everything you built crumble while you're powerless to stop it. When freedom returned in 2011, Brat confronted a reality that would have shattered most people's spirits. Her career lay in complete ruins, her reputation was permanently destroyed, and her financial situation was absolutely catastrophic. The brutal numbers revealed everything: $7.7 million in crushing debt. Complete bankruptcy. The woman who once commanded millions was now fighting just to survive. She had sacrificed her freedom, her fame, and her fortune. But sometimes absolute devastation is the only path to discovering your authentic self. Love in the darkness. During her bleakest hour, love discovered Brat in the most unexpected way possible. Jessica Dupart, successful entrepreneur, devoted mother, and the woman who would see beyond scandalous headlines to the wounded heart beneath. At 46 years old, Brat shocked the world more profoundly than her legal troubles ever had. She came out publicly, declaring her love for Judy with unprecedented vulnerability. "I've never experienced love like this, and I've never been happier to share it with the world." But even within love, heartbreak found them. Their parenthood journey was scarred by devastating loss, a miscarriage that tested their relationship and challenged their faith. The IVF process that followed was absolutely brutal. Severe complications hospitalized both women. Blood clots, enlarged hearts, dangerous hyperstimulation. Their bodies were pushed beyond safe limits while pursuing their dream of motherhood. Doctors urged them to abandon the process, warning that the risks were too extreme. But sometimes love demands fighting for what matters most, regardless of overwhelming odds. The miracle arrival. July 6, 2023. At 49 years old, Brat cradled her son for the first time. The woman who had lost everything had discovered something more precious than any platinum record or Grammy nomination: she had found her family. The grace in falling. Brat's saga isn't merely about disgrace, it's about finding grace through falling. It's about learning that sometimes you must lose who you were to discover who you're destined to become. She realized that genuine strength isn't about never revealing vulnerability. It's about having the courage to love openly, acknowledge your mistakes, and fight relentlessly for second chances. "I believed my life ended when I entered prison. I never imagined that my real life was just beginning." Today, Brat is fundamentally different from the woman who smashed that bottle in 2007. She's a wife, a mother, a survivor who learned that redemption isn't about erasing history, it's about refusing to let history erase your future. Her message resonates simply but profoundly: it's never too late to love. It's never too late to transform. It's never too late to heal. Sometimes life's most beautiful chapters begin after we believed the story had ended. The woman reborn. This is Brat, not just as she was, but as she became. A living reminder that our worst moments don't define us, how we rise from them does. Brat's journey encompasses extraordinary talent, unimaginable suffering, and a comeback rooted not in career resurrection, but in character transformation. She ascended as hip-hop's trailblazer, crashed under a single mistake's weight, and then quietly began rebuilding not just her image, but her soul. What makes her journey powerful isn't the fame she once possessed, but the humility she embraced after losing it. Prison didn't destroy her, it stripped away distractions and forced her to confront her own truth. Bankruptcy didn't eliminate her, it reminded her that life's most valuable treasures aren't purchased. They're built, sometimes from absolute nothing. When the world abandoned her, she didn't chase it desperately. Instead, she looked inward, found love in unexpected places, and dared to believe she still had something meaningful to offer, not to the industry, but to people who truly mattered. The quiet revolution. Brat could have vanished completely. She could have become another cautionary tale, but instead she demonstrated that redemption isn't flashy. It's quiet. It's endless nights in hospitals. It's risking your life to create new life. It's revealing your scars and declaring, "Yes, I failed, but I'm still here." Today, she's not just Brat the rapper. She's Shawntae Harris-Dupart, wife, mother, survivor. She reminds us that authentic strength isn't about never falling. It's about rising after each fall, repeatedly, even when nobody's watching. Her message is what our world desperately needs: your past may shape you, but it doesn't define you. No matter how far you've fallen, no matter how dark circumstances become, it's never too late to begin again. Because sometimes your greatest legacy isn't what you constructed at your peak, but what you discovered in your deepest valley. The final truth. This is Brat, not the scandal, not the platinum success, but the woman who proved that second chances aren't gifts. They're earned through blood, sweat, tears, and unwavering determination. And she earned hers completely.